children used to be taught in second grade how to write a thank you card, which still needs to be taught. But now we want to consider like having them type out and create a graphic design of a thank you card. Hi, I'm Laurelyn Vasquez for Ed Insights by Evelyn.
Hi, welcome to the series of Ed Insights by Evelyn, where we have a brief yet effective interaction with the industry leaders. I am Tavleen Kaur, a content analyst for Evelyn Learning Systems. Today, we are here with Laurelyn Vasquez. Laurelyn Vasquez is the Director of Operations and Educational Services with Beyond Technology Education. She's a writer and speaker on keeping kids safe and balanced with technology. While in college, she discovered how technology helped her succeed in academia, and from then on, she knew that getting the right technology and instruction into the hands of learners would be a significant game changer in their academics and life. Laurelyn is also a motivational speaker, passionate about healthy digital citizenship and safety, ensuring everyone has the digital literacy skills they need for success. Hi, Laurelyn. Welcome to Ed Insights by Evelyn.
Thank you. It's fantastic to be here.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for agreeing to be with us. How are you feeling?
I'm doing great today. It's a beautiful morning here in sunny California where I'm at.
Well, I have been, seeing your work and your expanse of experience into the sectors of education has been incredible. And I've seen you assisted educators, institutions in including project-based learning in their curriculums. And I was also reading one of the authors of Core Practices of Project-Based Learning, Zachary Herman, who says that if students are engaged but not learning something meaningful, then project-based learning has failed in its mission. And from someone like you who has an experience in project-based learning, I wanted to understand what, according to you, are the main practices that should be followed when executing PBL in classrooms.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that just having a project in the classroom is a project-based learning experience. And PBL Works is another company that is just doing fantastic in this area. They actually call projects a dessert, which is different from project-based learning. So you can be a teacher and do an incredible lesson, and the kids are learning, and then at the end of it, you say, okay, what to do is a diorama of a symbol of what you see, or an expression that's typical in a history class. Those are great projects, but they would be called like a dessert project instead of a project-based learning, which really is solving a problem. It's engaging in real world complex problems. It's making the learning meaningful. It's different from just a project. The dessert projects happen at, like at the end, or it's something to do at the end, whereas a project-based learning is a problem is set at the beginning and their students are solving it, following it all the way through, and it can be a really beautiful experience. I think there's some really clear things that need to happen in order to create a project-based learning environment. 30 years ago, I was working in a boarding school that was project-based, and it was really easy to come up with those dessert projects, but to come up with the idea of, okay, what problem are you solving? And so I kind of created this, what I call a CLEAR model, which puts the why in project-based learning, that we need to be really clear on why we're doing, what are the outcomes. And the C in CLEAR is collaboration. So as adults, I collaborate all the time. I don't want to create a project on my own because I could be missing something. So I might, ask a peer, I might ask a SME, a subject matter expert in the field, another teacher, a family member, and I'm collaborating together on this project. But I need to be really clear on what are the learning objectives, and that's the L in my CLEAR, the learning objectives. What's the point? It can be fun, but what are the outcomes of it? that we're going to have, and what problem are we solving. So we've got the learning outcomes, whether it's the state objectives, national, world objectives that you're solving for the curriculum that has to be taught. But then what's the outcome and point of the project? What are the kids going to be contemplating and make meaningful in their lives? What are they going to walk away from going, we solved a problem, which is pretty cool when you solve a problem, no matter who you are. And the E is engaging. It's got to be engaging, hold the student's attention, not just busy work. It's really easy to create busy work. But so you want to have something that's really fun. And the A in my clear is the ability to assess it. So the students have done it, but I still have to have a rubric. I still have to have discussion board questions. Still have to have really clear outcomes that I want from that. And then the R is reflection. And that's where the real world comes in, where students can reflect on what's taking place throughout the project and what real world problem are we solving with this. And this can be as simple as, a math. I was reading a project that somebody was doing the outside of a building, the perimeter, and they had to teach that. And so how did they come up with the real world problem to teach this to, I think it was like third or fourth grade teachers? It was fantastic. So we didn't just start out with, today we're going to learn about perimeters and how to, gather the outside, the circumference of the building. But instead it was, I have a problem. And how am I going to solve this problem? And so, which, especially for third graders, are going to be like, oh yeah, I want to help you solve this problem. It makes it meaningful. So, we just need to remember that project-based learning activities don't need to be these humongous things, but they do need to be well thought out.
Well, I think that's an incredible idea. So, do you think that project-based learning for students of younger age is something which is more complicated because it is difficult to, interact with students at that point of time? Or is it something that starts at later in the secondary education? I mean, how does it work?
No, it can be as simple as I actually have, preschoolers who want to help solve a problem. Hey, we want to have onions for dinner. How on earth are we going to have onions for dinner? If you're going to be teaching earth science, right? So you're going to teach them about planting, and they're going to help you, and they're going to water, and they're going to engage in it. So as the littles love projects, right? And solving problems that are meaningful and take time. These projects, take time. A teacher can have a semester long project, such as a farm, such as plants. She can have vegetables growing in her windowsill. Whether it's reading, right? We've got to learn our A's. Why do we need to learn our A's? And once you start getting into the habit of creating these projects, like for us, with Beyond Technology, we actually have our kindergartners starting off with, how can we be kind in this world? And so they're learning technology. The standard is to learn to use a trackpad or a mouse, but they're filling up a kindness bucket that they're doing all along. And we're having these discussions, and they're learning how to be kind to their neighbors as they're learning how to collaborate and engage with their peers in it. They're learning how to share, right? So all of these things that the standard that we're teaching is within the realm of technology, learning how to digital literacy. But within it are these real world problems that the kids are solving and working on. It's really fantastic. So yeah, so littles all the way up. Of course, the depth of insight is going to become, massive as you jump up. High schoolers are solving the problem of water in the world right now. Their brainchilds are just coming out, and it's launching problems to be solved, in their adult life. It's really cool.
I agree, because I also believe that students who are more younger, they're more curious than compared to ones that are grown up. When we grow up, we kill ourselves asking questions why. We stop ourselves from doing that. But kids don't, they're not even holding themselves back. Younger ones.
Yeah. And, littles, I've got a grandchild, and they're curious, super curious. He wants to explore everything. And even though his language might not be there yet, his body is like, I'm going to get into that bucket. How am I going to get into that bucket? I'm going to figure it out, and we're picking him up, moving him. He's a toddler. So it's really fascinating.
Well, Laurelyn, you've also been involved in the integration of EdTech in K-12 and training of teachers as well. However, when I see that when we work with institutions and educators and there's an integration of technology in classrooms, I'm sure you might have encountered some common problems during the process of collaboration or integration. And could you share some of the concerns that you experienced?
Yeah, 3 years ago, many in the world, especially in the United States, uh, doled out computers to students. Now, 3 years later, those computers are breaking. Those computers are, having issues. And all along, we taught students the skills on just how to survive during that time. It was Zoom. Kids can work themselves around Zoom. But actually using it, integrating it into the classroom for a normal classroom experience, such as we want to all be back to, has not happened. The funding's not there. That's a huge problem that we have, is being able to fund. Schools got one-time grants, they got, the COVID money, and now new funding needs to happen. There's limited access to technology in the classrooms. The biggest struggle is PD for teachers. So if we want to have lifelong learning be the goal for our students, we've got to really make sure that we value lifelong learning that's relevant and meaningful, project-based for our teachers as well. That's really important. Otherwise the collaboration and the integration doesn't really happen. Teachers are overwhelmed. Decision fatigue is real. It's a real thing. They are making decisions about so many things in their classroom all day long, and they just want the tech to work. I heard a story the other day. It's year-end testing right now as we're making this. And so the students have to do their testing on computers. So they're given their laptop in the classroom. But then if something doesn't work on it, they are to walk to the library to get it fixed. Well, even if the library is 2 doors down, that's still 15 minutes out of their testing time that they have. I mean, all these little things can be overwhelming to a teacher. So it's important that we teach our teachers and students at a young age how to problem solve around tech, right, with their own device. We've got to be able to come alongside. I see those as some of the biggest struggles.
When you say that technology integration is happening in classrooms, what do we mean by that when it comes to subjects? I mean, are we referring to only a particular subject, or is it for or subject teachers can use it for their lesson and instructions for the students?
All of the subjects, are going to need to use technology. So especially in our creative content, in our language arts, in our reading, and our writing, math. Khan Academy has changed how homework is done. Teachers and school administrators all need to be able to stay up to date on the tech tools that are available to their students so that they can incorporate it into the classroom. I have a very sweet sister who is a elementary school teacher, second grade teacher, and she just doesn't have the white space in her classroom, is what they call it. It's just the room in her schedule to be able to teach technology and to integrate it. That's another one of the problems, is just actually the time that they have. But she would love to. As a young elementary school teacher, she's got a lot of neat projects she would love to be able to do on technology if she had the time and ability.
And also, Laurelyn, you've been someone who's also had an extensive experience with curriculum development. And while going into that side, what can you say about curriculum needs of today's students, and how often should curriculums be changed or renewed and reassessed as per the needs of the and demands of the industry?
It's been shared with me that the average public school changes curriculum every 7 years. I don't really know the statistics on that, but as a curriculum company, we're seeing that the need is about every 4 years to really update the curriculum, but curriculum is expensive. And so school districts are going to be hesitant on every 4 years. So I think with all the digital tools that are available, our curriculum can be updated relatively quickly as new technology comes, because we're in the digital space. I mentioned Khan Academy. I mean, they are leading the way in that, with extra tools that teachers can use if a curriculum is getting dated. And often the dating of the curriculum is either the technology tools that are available or the language of the time and how culture changes. You judge a book by its cover, and kids judge a book by its cover. They will. So it's, nice to have something fun and exciting. In the States, Common Core came out about 2010. And so new curriculum was needed. Now, 13 years later, we're evaluating that curriculum and looking on it. And depending on what state you're in, there's, different standards that are met in the different states. So it's always something to be looking at. How can I supplement, add to, if you're not going to get a whole new curriculum, how can I add to it? Can I grow? We are really mindful. We update our curriculum every year because technology is always changing. And so even though we know that schools are not going to buy the whole new brand thing every year, right? So we work on different licensing and different abilities for schools to make it affordable for them. Because when you're in the digital space, you can do that.
Like you were saying that it is expensive exercise to renew and draw a curriculum. And so do you think that with the coming times like artificial intelligence and the use of it, will that help the teachers to or the students or schools to bring down the cost of curriculum development?
I really think so. I mean, it has for our company. And, and helping us to be able to stay cutting edge without having to raise our prices too much. Children used to be taught in second grade how to write a thank you card, which still needs to be taught. But now we want to consider like having them type out and create a graphic design of a thank you card, right, in second grade. So it's constantly just being mindful of, okay, here's our curriculum. And AI is incredible, and teachers need to be trained on AI. I know there are professional developments happening all over the world right now for teachers with AI, which is exciting for me. Our conference this summer is all about that, which is really fun to be able to give these tools to the teachers, but we can, put these things together for teachers to really help them and help them grow as they love and long to be lifelong learners as well.
Do you have any message for our audience, for our readers or educators?
Watch all of Evelyn Learning's podcasts. I do. We need to bring joy back to learning. The last 3 years have been rough. Let's find the tools to help with this. We need to ask ourselves, how can we be more student focused and reflect on how we can improve our student experiences and outcome? There was a lot of hard, and now let's bring back the joy. They're fantastic, but I want to encourage everyone to keep pushing the envelope and trying new things to help your students succeed. Try new things in your classroom. Principals, give your teachers time in their day to explore new things. PD is essential. We want to be lifelong learners in all that we do. So let's bring back that joy for the teachers, for the staff, and for the students, because learning is fun.
Thank you so much, Lauren. That was lovely to hear from you. And it's been lovely, having you on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me.